Welcome all my lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I'm Hanya, your demonic cinephile, and the other night I finally got a chance to watch The Ugly Stepsister. I've been wanting to watch this ever since it got released over here. I've been putting it off for various reasons that I can't even remember. But yeah, I finally got a chance to watch it, and I'm not sure how to feel about this. I really did love this movie. It, as going off recency bias, is probably in the top five of my favorite horror movies of the year because I just love the twist of the film that it is. Because the whole trend we've been having nowadays of taking classic children's stories, classic children characters, and giving them a horror spin. Mostly it's turning them into slashers. This though, this is a little different because a lot of these little fairy tales are for children kind of start off as more creepy, more horror centric. Then it got a little bit more safe for kids and safe for the modern audience as the years went down and down. So this is kind of taking the original story back to its more gothic roots, back to the Brothers Grimm. But yeah, if you don't know, The Ugly Stepsister is a new dark interpretation of the Cinderella story. This time having the main focus be on one of the stepsisters. And uh all right, so the film is a Norwegian film, and I want to say this is my first time watching a Norwegian film. I've seen a French film. I've seen a bunch of Japanese films. But this is the first time I ever watched a Norwegian film. So that was kind of a fun little thing for me. But no, we follow this family, the the mother Rebecca and her two daughters, Elvira and Alma. They moved from wherever they originally came from, and they marry this man, and he has his daughter who is Agnes, who is our Cinderella stand-in, and they both seem only no, they just seem like they just met each other. It's obviously a marriage of convenience because one or the other thinks that the other is wealthy. Turns out neither are wealthy, and the father dies shortly after. And there is this big grief um, from Agnes, and that's kind of fills her rage towards her to her new family members, especially to her stepsister. And that is what I don't know what I'm saying. Now that is kind of like how I'm trying to say this because the ugly stepsister, she's not a bad person in the when the film first starts out. No, she's a nice girl. She likes poetry. She has these ideals of romance in her head that has to be fulfilled. She needs to marry the prince because she wants royalty. She knows her family needs the money, and it's just this fantasy that she's built up in her upon herself because I can only assume that because she doesn't have much. This is this it's this one little dream that's kind of kept her going for a while. And the film kind of plays on ideas of femininity, beauty standards, having to doll yourself out, dress yourself up for another person's approval, patriarchy. Not like, oh, I want to change for myself. No, you're changing to fit another person's ideal that you shouldn't really have to change yourself for. And it gives a lot of comparison to the substance which I kept seeing here and there. And while there are some comparisons and ideals, no, this is a very different movie from The Substance. They're both good character dramas. The Substance is a bit more chaotic and psychotic. Well, they're both psychotic, but Substance is more chaotic, and a lot of the changes, physical changes that the character goes through are through drug related, and it isn't out of her control. And the ugly stepsister is very much a poor abused girl who's constantly being fed lies and ideas, not just like from the basically from everyone around her, from her mother to her dance teachers to her pervy dressmaker. And you feel just so bad for Elvira because she starts the story as such a sweet girl, and you see her slowly transform into the ugly stepsister. And it's not from, she starts looking more ugly. No, her soul becomes more ugly. Because there's this line that a character says, this line this character says where obviously that is what's inside that matters most. And we all know that it's your mind, it's your soul that should matter before most other things. Of course, we learned that this person was an absolute liar. She didn't mean to order that. But we do see as the ugly stepsister becomes more physically, conventionally attractive. She wasn't ugly. She just needed, probably need a good tan, have someone actually fix her teeth up properly. She wasn't a bad looking girl. But as she starts to become more conventionally beautiful, more supermodel esque, her her mind, her soul, that starts to become more ugly. She becomes more demanding, more stuck up, more bratty, because she's getting all this attention upon her that she wouldn't have gotten if she decided to stay who she was. And the I really do like the transformation. It's very nasty, like ill. Well, she's becoming this horrible person, but you see why she's becoming this horrible person. And the director, and the actress sell it so well. Agnes, our Cinderella type of character. She's not. She does is called Cinderella a few times in the film, but it's the classic reason why she's called Cinderella. It's not because that's her name, she's Cinderella. No, she's called Cinderella because she's forced to work as the maid and she's covered in ashes all the time. So yeah, that's gonna kind of sad. But Cinderella does have a good opposite arc of Agnes, where Cinderella, Agnes, she starts the movie as very haughty. She's She's grieving the death of her father. She hates her new family members. She thinks low of them because they are poorer than her. She's like, oh, she's not that beautiful, blah blah blah. But you see that she does have I won't really call it a character arc because the movie is solely focused on Elvira and her transformation. But you do have a slow build change of character for Agnes as she does become more selfless. She becomes more kind, and I would like to see a little bit more of that. I think it'd been kind of nice if we could focus a little bit more on those aspects. Because there is actually a lot of character arcs that are just happening off screen, which kind of understandable. The movie is about the ugly stepsister. But I would like to see a little bit more of that because we have what's her name? Alma, the second stepsister, and you can see how she is also abused by the mother, but in a less uh, child abuse isn't always bad, but like in a less severe way, you could say, because she's just neglected entirely. Oh, she gets to eat and she gets to roam around in I don't know what you call that castle. Yeah, but she's not looked after. No one really cares about her. I was like, oh, she's not old enough yet. She's not, she hasn't gone. She doesn't start puberty. She's like, oh, she's just worthless. I don't need to focus on her. I need to focus on my older daughter. So that gives Alma the chance to play around in the stables, to get her to see that the beauty standards that being forced upon her sister are just make no sense, are awful. You shouldn't change yourself because of this. She is given freedom to do as she likes, only simple because no one cares enough to look after her. And that it feels so sad. Like you need there should be a little bit more focus on that. But in terms of other things like pacing wise, because I was talking about more time, I think the movie is paced kind of fine. It did feel like it lagged in a couple parts, but the character performances were just great. So, it worked well. I would say the performances are great because, like I said, not really used to Norwegian languages. So I'm just going based off what I could just see and read from the subtitles of how good each of the roles were being performed. But another thing is the sets. Like you all know, if you visit, you frequent the channel, you know how much I love period pieces, and I love the look of this film. It has so everything looks so richly designed. The everything from the castles to the certain parts in the old classical rooms, the old classical kitchen, and just how things are just looked, and it felt like you were kind of in that time period. And also just other parts like how they chose certain outside locations, like this little meadow or the two stepsisters are in look really great. The clothing in this film look absolutely gorgeous, especially the end where they're at the ball. And it's that ball scene was so uncomfortable to get through. Like the actual dance sequence was kind of horrifying how they spin it up, made it so chaotic. But no, like the part where all the women have to kind of parade around the room and this person's reading off, oh, their likes and hobbies, their age is it's I don't know. It just ain't really net. Like I can see why the director did it, and she did a fantastic job at showcasing just how dumb and pointless this all should be. But it really just goes to um Elvira, because like I said, Elvira starts the story off as such a sweet girl. Then here she's dressed up, she's all dolled up, she looks beautiful, but she's kind of acting like a dog. I mean, there's no subtlety. She literally it does act like a dog. Um, the horror, the horror of the film. Okay, so when was so excited for this movie that when they saw the first trailer, they kept showing all these nasty parts, like the surgery she goes through to become more beautiful, and a lot of the marketing that I saw kind of hinted at that, like, oh, this movie is so disturbing, it's so gross. No, not really. I mean, there are nasty parts of the film, but it's not that horrible. Like there's like I think someone were talking bad about there's this one sex scene in the film where it shows a lot, but it wasn't bad. It's not like it went on for like 5 whole minutes. The actual horror parts of the film, I seen done I seen done worse because I have watched a lot of extreme movies, so I've seen some worse things out there, but they are executed perfectly in here. But the movie is it's not really sold on the gore. I mean, yes, there are some gory parts where she does have to, spoilers, break her nose, get these things sewed into her eyes. Um, when she has this thing yanked out of her throat. I'm not going to elaborate at the very end. All those things are off, like they are gruesome. One had me squirming in my seat to the point I couldn't even look at the computer. That's how horrible I found it. But no, the movie is really focused on the character drama and the building up and breaking down of Elvira. It's just a sad, tragic story of what she starts off as in the beginning of the movie and how she ends the film. And I don't know how much I can really say else. The movie is just really good. The shots are fantastic. Like I said earlier, I like how the director chooses not to use a lot of music and holds back on more modern sounding music to help create the old timey atmosphere. And like I said also before, this is my first time watching a Norwegian movie, so it's kind of hard to gauge the performances. But the script was fantastic, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Fantastic script, good acting, I think, gruesome shots, and just a beautiful looking movie. Like it really just got keep hammering on. The film looks beautiful. The locations, the sets, and how they even lit the sets. I think there was a lot of natural lighting in the movie, like lighting through candles. It kind of seemed like if they did use natural lighting, like through candle work, extra praise there because, well, I was never into the lighting aspect when I did take film classes. A lighting scenes is freaking hard. Like I I can't even really begin to emphasize on the difficulty of lighting a scene sometimes, especially when you have to match a light to certain locations or an actor's skin tone, and then that's especially awful when you're working with natural lighting because it's so unpredictable. So the director did use natural lighting. She gets an A freaking plus because god dang it, that can be difficult. But yeah, The Ugly Stepsister. Have you seen it? Are you gonna watch it? Comment below. Let me know. The film, you can find the film on Amazon Prime or AMC Plus. Go check it out if you can, especially if you like if you like horror fairy tales. If you want to see a good horror fairy tale version of Cinderella that isn't just a slasher, please go check this out. It's a great film. If you don't mind foreign films, don't mind subtitles, I think you're gonna love it. But yeah, that's all I have to say. And I'm gonna disappear into the void and see you all in the next video or a live stream if my internet wants stops acting up on me. Okay, bye.